What's up guys, Mark from Copy Glass. I'm just going to be doing a very quick video for you guys now on something that is really hot at the moment in the news, and that is in-app purchasing. Now what I'm talking about here is basically when you get a game, or be it a paid for game or a free game, and it allows you to purchase items to help you progress without having to wait basically. So just not necessarily cheating, but if you put down the money you're going to get further than someone that doesn't. So technically I would say that's cheating. Now obviously there's been a lot of controversy about it, not necessarily in the tech news but just in general in the actual national news. Obviously BBC for instance done a story the other day about a kid that racked up I think it was about £1,700 bill playing a free game and buying in-app purchases £69 a piece, and he got about 19 odd of those and some other stuff on the side and all this. So you know it's quite a big problem that's going on at the moment obviously, but you know we'll get onto the reasons why just in a minute. Now I'm just going to kind of give an example real quick basically. I mean, I am addicted to the game Simpsons Tapped Out. It's probably my favourite iOS game, and it's basically all about building your own Simpsons world. Now to get things done in the game, you have to obviously set things to do, like building a kind of property like the Simpson house, the Quickie Mart or whatever, and then you have to wait for it to get done. Or you can use donuts, which is basically the game's kind of cheat currency, to get it built a lot quicker. So it can take 24 hours to build something, or if you use donuts it will get done in about 2 or 3 seconds I think it is. Now these donuts you get throughout the game, but you get them very slowly. I mean, I've been playing the game quite a lot. I'm nearly at the top level and I've only got about 7 or 8 donuts I've actually collected through the game. So you know, it takes a long time to get these games to kind of get where you need to with the kind of extra things that you want to get. Now what you can do though with the Simpsons game is actually use an in-app purchase to buy extra donuts or buy extra money. Obviously if you buy money it allows you to buy more stuff, and then the donuts that you buy will then allow you to progress things a lot faster. Now the price of these donuts range from 69p all the way up to £70. Now I think personally that that is a ridiculous price for an in-app purchase for a free game. I know it's a free game and these companies, they do need to make money. They can't keep making free games because eventually they're going to go bust. But to do it where you're paying that much money to progress in the game, to me is completely ridiculous. I do not think that a game that says it's free should have an in-app purchase of £70. Maximum £2.99, maybe £5 at a push. So again, like I say, in all these stories and things that have been going on, it's mainly down to, for instance, parents and things giving their children their devices and letting them get what they need to do, and then at the end of the month getting a massive bill to say, okay, look, you owe X amount. Now I'm not a parent myself. I don't have kids and things. You know, I am a son of someone, for instance, but I have not really that much sympathy for these people that get these massive bills. At the end of the day, obviously, the reason why they're getting the bills is because obviously you're just basically saying, okay, look, you don't know what to do, for instance, here, take my iPad on my iPhone, play some games, go crazy, don't worry about it. When the kid then comes up to you for the password, you go tap, 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 fine, there you go, there's the password, done. And the kid's the way he wants to do. Now, I'm not going to necessarily say that it's bad parenting, but I'm going to say that it's lazy parenting. Obviously, there's a lot of things out there to help you in terms of how to use your device, what to do if you've got children and things. So there's parental controls, there's allowances. For instance, if you buy your child an iPod Touch and they're downloading stuff, etc., you can set an allowance. You can set how much they can use it, etc. You can just take it away from them. All this kind of stuff that is very simple to do in terms of, you know, saving you money at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's not the kid that has to pay the bill, it's you that has to pay the bill. Obviously, Apple, in pretty much every circumstance that has been in the news, that may be because it's in the news and the amounts. Obviously, if a kid gets a £1,700 bill and it's all over the BBC, Apple are clearly going to refund the money. They want to keep that good impression that they are a good company and that they do kind of, you know how you're feeling, all this kind of stuff. But whether it was in the news or not, I don't know whether they would do any refunds and things like that, because at the end of the day, you have to put in your password. Apple have things in place to stop you getting these massive bills. If you do get a big bill, for instance, if I was to get a bill for £1,700, I would know it was down to me doing something wrong, or me entering passwords, or just me buying stuff. I would never get a bill and think, well, where's this bill come from? I would know exactly where it came from. So obviously you get email notifications. I get one every single week from Apple saying, okay, this is your iTunes receipt. Tells me the apps that I've bought. Even if they're free, it notes it on there to say, look, you downloaded this. So again, you know, there are a lot of things in place to help out with parents and things to kind of do that and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I personally don't see what's wrong with buying your kid a toy, telling them to go outside, get some fresh air, for instance, instead of just plonking them down in front of the TV or just on the sofa with your iPad and something like that. But that's a different story, maybe for a completely different YouTube page. But like I say, I mean, I'm not necessarily kind of condoning the in-app purchases. I think sometimes an in-app purchase is good. Obviously you get it all the time and things, but for an in-app purchase to reach $69.99, for instance, Real Racing 3, you can get an in-app purchase that is £69. For that same money, if you go to either a second-hand game shop or even Play.com, Amazon, anything like that, you can get 3 super good racing games, including Forza 4, Dirt 3, and also Gran Turismo 5 for the exact same money. Now, I don't know why anybody would buy stuff for Real Racing 3 on their iPhone when they can buy 3 amazing racing games for a console. Even if you don't have a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360, you can get a second-hand Nintendo DS with a game for £50. So again, the amount of money that people are putting into these games and things is a bit crazy. If a game is free, they should have maybe a limit on how high the in-app purchase can go. If you have to pay for the game, then yeah, by all means have an expensive in-app purchase. But I do think it is maybe a bit unfair that a lot of free games are aimed at, you know, children, for instance. One of the stories was about a young girl, she was about 7 or 8 years old, downloaded a game about ponies. That you can buy different things for your ponies and all this kind of stuff. One of them was a £50, I think it was $49.99 gem that goes on the pony somewhere, I don't know where, but the kid bought it. She thought, I want that gem for my pony, so she bought it. Now, the way that she got around it, obviously, is if you are in an application and you, for instance, enter in your password, you can then keep buying things for 15 minutes, I think it is, before it then asks you to re-enter your password. Or if you exit the app and go back into the app, it will straight away ask you for the password if you want to buy anything. So I think maybe Apple should definitely have something on there where instead of doing an in-app purchase for every time you start it or every 15 minutes, it should just be there all the time, unless you turn it off with a different password. For instance, if I had a passcode on my phone that I could put in to turn off in-app purchases, I could then give it to someone to use and I know they're not going to buy anything. Whereas at the moment, it's if they buy something and they've got your password, or for instance, if you've bought something and then you give it to someone, then they can keep buying stuff within that same game environment. So there's a couple of things maybe extra that Apple can do in terms of maybe some extra security, but then again, obviously people like myself, we don't want to be entering passwords all the time. I think the level of password protection on there now is perfect for someone like myself. I don't mind entering my password every now and then, not really a problem to me at all. So like I say, bit of a rant and rave about, you know, what I think and maybe what parents should do to kind of help out and, you know, kind of get the word out there and things. Obviously, you know, I wrote to Apple, I sent an email to Apple to ask them about this, and all they'd done was send through exactly what I thought they would, and it was basically a copy of the terms and conditions. It outlined things like, I mentioned, the parental control, the password protection, obviously allowances for kids and things like that. So it outlined everything. So the resources are there. So I mean, if you are going to get a device like this or an iPad or anything like that, I think maybe it's also knowing what you're buying before you buy it. With an iPad, yes, there's free games, but there's also paid for games, there's paid for apps, movies, music, etc. And if a kid has your password, they can use it, they can buy stuff, and you're going to get these high bills. So like I said, I'm Michael from Copy v Glass. I've got to get back to my Simpsons game because I've got a massive bill that I need to pay. So I will catch you in the next video. See ya.